The reign of the Targaryen Dynasty. The Sons of the Dragon and the Faith Militant uprising. Upon Aegon I's death, his son Aenys, born of incest, takes the throne. Aenys is weak and indecisive and cannot adequately deal with many localized rebellions that pop up, such as the Vulture Hunt along the border with Dorne, leading to him naming his half-brother Maegor as Hand of the King and giving him authority to deal with the crises. The Faith of the Seven, long disgusted with the Targaryens' incestuous practices, rejects Aenys' legitimacy to rule after he foolishly announces the marriage of his son and daughter to each other. The Faith Militant, armed order of the religion, leads a popular uprising against the Targaryens. Aenys' health fails from the stress and he dies on Dragonstone. Maegor usurps the throne ahead of Aenys' children, and leads a bloody and ferocious counterattack against the Faith Militant, resulting in the deaths of thousands in battle and by dragonfire. The slaughter of the Faith Militant uprising lasts throughout Maegor's reign. Maegor proves to be the exact opposite of his weakling older brother, effectively smashing the Faith Militant and restoring Targaryen domination, but so much so that he becomes a brutal tyrant, instituting a reign of terror. He quickly earns the nickname, Maegor the Cruel. Maegor finishes construction of the Red Keep, and orders construction of the Dragon Pit. 41 AC, Maegor's brutal tactics alienate all of his allies, leading to a final popular revolt against him, which rallies around his brother's last surviving son, Jaehaerys. The rebellion is brief, and within the year, Maegor is found dead on the Iron Throne, of an apparent suicide so he wouldn't have to face the victorious rebels. The long reign of Jaehaerys I. 42 AC, following Maegor's suicide, Aenys' son, Jaehaerys I, becomes king. Jaehaerys and his hand Barth reach an accord with the High Septon. In return for the monarchy becoming the defenders of the faith agrees to cease their condemnation of the practices of the Targaryens and disband their military forces. Jaehaerys thus successfully puts an end to the Faith Militant uprising without the need for further violence. During the reign of Jaehaerys I, the Night's Watch had declined to the point that it could no longer fully man a castle as large as the Night Fort, which had fallen into disrepair. The Watch officially abandons the Night Fort, and moves its headquarters to further east along the wall at Deep Lake, then later further east to Castle Black. 81 AC, Prince Daemon Targaryen is born. 97 AC, Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen and Alicent Hightower are born. 100 AC, Lena Valerion is born. 101 AC Frownyface N4, Baelon Targaryen, the Prince of Dragonstone, dies of a burst belly. 101 AC, the Great Council of 101 AC is held to determine King Jaehaerys' successor. Viserys Targaryen is elected Prince of Dragonstone over his cousin, Princess Rhaenys Targaryen. 103 AC, after nearly 60 years on the Iron Throne, Jaehaerys dies and is succeeded by King Viserys I. House of the Dragon, Season 1. 112 AC. The free cities of Lys, Myr, and Tyrosh form a political and military union known as the Triarchy and seize the Stepstones. Queen Aemma Arryn dies giving birth to Prince Baelon Targaryen, who also dies soon after. Over half a year later, King Viserys marries Alicent Hightower. After disinheriting his brother, Daemon, King Viserys names his only daughter, Princess Rhaenyra, as his heir as the Princess of Dragonstone. Ser Criston Cole is named the new member of the Kingsguard by Rhaenyra Targaryen. Corlys Velaryon and Daemon Targaryen start the war for the Stepstones against the Triarchy. 113 AC. Prince Aegon is born. 115 AC. Prince Daemon and Lord Corlys win a great victory at the Siege of Bloodstone. Sometime thereafter, Daemon is named King of the Narrow Sea over the conquered Stepstones. Princess Helaena Targaryen is born. 116 AC. Princess Rhaenyra goes on a royal tour throughout the Seven Kingdoms to find a suitable marriage candidate, which she cuts short at Storm's End. King Viserys finally commands her to wed Ser Laenor Velaryon, which she agrees to on the condition that Viserys dismisses Ser Otto Hightower as Hand of the King. Otto is subsequently replaced as Hand by Lord Lionel Strong. During their wedding feast of Princess Rhaenyra and Ser Laenor, a brawl breaks out between Ser Criston Cole and Ser Joffrey Lonmouth, resulting in the latter's death. Subsequently after, Rhaenyra and Laenor are hastily married. 118 AC. Rhaena Targaryen is born. Prince Lucerys Velaryon is born. 126 AC, the year of the Red Spring. Prince Joffrey Velaryon is born. Princess Rhaenyra and her husband Laenor become estranged from the royal court and move to Dragonstone. The Triarchy allies itself with Dorne, bringing the war for the Stepstones into a new phase. Larry Strong orchestrates a fire at Harrenhal, in which his father Lionel and brother Harwin are killed. Larry succeeds his father as Lord of Harrenhal, while sometime after, Otto Hightower regains his position as Hand of the King. Lena, facing a difficult labor and the prospect of a caesarean section being performed to deliver her and Daemon's third child, commits suicide by dragonfire via her dragon Vagor. Immediately following the funeral of Lena Valerion, Laenor is believed to have been murdered by his lover Carl Corey. In reality, Laenor and Carl abscond to Essos. Sometime after, Rhaenyra and Daemon are married. 128 AC. Prince Aegon the Younger is born. 132 AC, The Dance of the Dragons. Corlys Valerion wins the war for the Stepstones and returns to Westeros with a near-fatal wound. Vaemond Valerion is executed for treason by Daemon Targaryen after proclaiming her children to be bastards and Rhaenyra Targaryen a whore. King Viserys dies after years of suffering from his long illness. The next morning, the Greens seize control of King's Landing. Aegon II is crowned in the Dragon Pit. Rhaenyra is crowned at Dragonstone. Rhaenyra sends Jacaerys to the Eyrie and Winterfell to treat with Jane Arryn and Cregan Stark. Lucerys is sent to Storm's End to treat with Boros Baratheon. Lucerys and his dragon Eryx are killed by Aemond and his dragon Vagor in a fight above Shipbreaker Bay. The Conquest of Dorne. The Conquest of Dorne. King Daeron I, the young dragon, takes the throne and almost immediately launches an invasion of Dorne, which had remained defiantly independent since Aegon's landing. Daeron's military genius is notable and he eventually forces the submission of Sunspear. Unfortunately, while the conquest of Dorne is a success, holding Dorne proves more difficult, leading to a protracted Dornish insurgency. Daeron I leaves a Tyrell of Highgarden, who have warred with the Martells for 1,000 years, as his steward to rule over occupied Dorne. Lionel Tyrell's tyranny triggers an uprising against the Iron Throne. When Daeron I returns with a fresh army, he is ambushed and killed, and his cousin Prince Aemon the Dragon Knight is captured and his army defeated. Daeron I died childless, so the throne passed to his brother Baelor, who forged a peace treaty with Dorne, including the marriage of Viserys II's grandson, Daeron II, to Princess Maria Martell. The reign of King Baelor the Blessed, the Septon King. Baelor is pious and holy, keeping the realm at peace. Baelor negotiates an end to hostilities with Dorne after his brother's death. Baelor commissions the construction of a huge new sept in King's Landing, which, after his death, is named the Great September of Baelor in his honor. Baelor is so religiously zealous that he remains celibate. Instead of marrying one of his sisters in Targaryen custom, he has all three locked away in a tower of the Red Keep known as the Maiden Vault, so that they would not tempt him with carnal thoughts. Baelor also dies childless, and because Aegon III had no other male heirs, the succession passes over his surviving daughters so that his younger brother Viserys II Targaryen takes the throne, youngest son of Rhaenyra. Viserys II had been Hand of the King for years under both Daeron and Baelor. He is eventually succeeded in turn by his son Aegon IV. 172 to 184 AC, the reign of King Aegon IV, Aegon the Unworthy, held to be the worst king in the history of Westeros. A glutton and a cruel, petty man, Aegon has a total of 9 mistresses in succession that he keeps at court, to the dismay of his sister-wife Naerys. He holds his son and heir, Daeron II, in disfavor due to his Dornish wife, Princess Maria Martell, and peaceful ways, so he decides to give the ancestral Valyrian steel sword of Aegon the Conqueror, Blackfyre, to his bastard son Daemon, whom he thinks is more martial and worthy of it. His bastard son takes the new name Daemon Blackfyre, after the sword, and founds the cadet branch of House Targaryen known as House Blackfyre. Upon Aegon IV's death, Daeron II succeeds to the Iron Throne. The Blackfyre Rebellions. 195 to 196 AC, claiming that Daeron II is actually the product of an illegitimate relationship between Queen Naerys and her other brother, Prince Aemon the Dragon Knight, Daemon Blackfyre claims the Iron Throne. Half the realm declares for him, and the resulting civil war is known as the First Blackfyre Rebellion. This is a brutal and bitter conflict that kills many tens of thousands. Eventually, Daemon amasses enough strength to march on King's Landing, allied to the forces of his bastard half-brother Aegor, Bittersteel, Rivers. Daeron II's sons, Baelor and Mikar, lead an army to stop him, assisted by another of Aegon IV's bastards, Brynden, Bloodraven, Rivers. The resulting engagement, the Battle of the Redgrass Field, is one of the largest battles fought in Westerosi history. Bloodraven slays Daemon Blackfyre with arrows and then fights Bittersteel in single combat. The arrival of a Dornish army in support of the king routs the Blackfyre forces. Bitter Steel flees the field with Daemon's surviving sons, taking them to safety in the Free Cities. In thanks for the Dornish assistance on the Redgrass field, Daeron II marries his younger sister Daenerys to Prince Meryn Martell, formally bringing Dorne into the Seven Kingdoms. Due to the peaceable union, Dorne is allowed to maintain a number of its own customs, including allowing women equal inheritance rights and that the ruler of Dorne is allowed to retain the title, Prince. During a tournament at Ashford, the trial by 7 of Duncan the Tall takes place when Ser Duncan the Tall runs afoul of Prince Aerion, Brightflame, Targaryen, eldest son of Prince Maegor, himself the younger son of Daeron II. During the trial by combat Crown Prince Baelor, Breakspear, Targaryen is accidentally killed by his younger brother Prince Maegor. Ser Duncan begins his great friendship with Prince Aegon, Targaryen, fourth and youngest son of Maegor. Disgusted with his eldest son Aerion, Maegor agrees to let Aegon follow Ser Duncan as his squire as he seeks his fortune across Westeros, hoping it will give the boy some real-life experience. Dunk and Egg, as they are known, embark on numerous adventures across Westeros in the following years. The adventures of Ser Duncan and Prince Aegon are told in the Tales of Dunk and Egg, a prequel series to the main Game of Thrones storyline. 209 AC, the Great Spring Sickness tears through Westeros, a few months after the confrontation between Ser Duncan and Prince Aerion at Ashford. Among those killed are King Daeron II himself, as well as the heirs of Prince Baelor. Aerys I Targaryen, next eldest son of Daeron II, succeeds him as king. He names Bloodraven as his hand. Blackfyre loyalists attempt to launch a second Blackfyre rebellion, but, in part due to the activities of Dunk and Egg, Bloodraven exposes the plan, captures one of Daemon Blackfyre's sons and executes many of the conspirators before a battle needs to be fought. Daemon Blackfyre's half-brother Bitter Steel forms the Golden Company in the Free Cities, a sellsword company which over time will grow into the best and largest in Essos. Its core membership are Blackfyre loyalists who fled into exile across the Narrow Sea. Bitter Steel created the Golden Company so that Daemon's younger sons could still maintain some sort of cohesive fighting force between attempted invasions. The Third Blackfyre Rebellion. Sensing the weakness of Aerys I's reign, Blackfyre loyalists rise up again, aided by Bitter Steel and the Golden Company. Due to the actions of Bloodraven, Maegor, and Dunk and Egg, the rebellion is put down. Bitter Steel escapes once again to the Free Cities. After Aerys I dies childless, his younger brother Maegor I, fourth son of Daeron II, becomes king of the Seven Kingdoms. Third son Regal had previously died, was insane anyway, and his heirs also predeceased Aerys I. Maegor is a strong enough ruler that the Blackfyre pretenders in exile don't dare try to launch another rebellion during his reign, though he faces various localized uprisings and intrigues. A disciplined soldier but not a courtier, Maegor is a capable and effective king, although not a particularly loved one. His reign does much to restore the power and respect the throne lost during his older brother's weak reign. Maegor I dies during the siege of a rebel lord's castle. With his eldest two sons dead, one from a pox, and Aerion from drinking wildfire in a fit of madness, the council offers the crown to Maegor's third son, a maester of the citadel named Aemon, but citing his vows he refuses the throne. Therefore Maegor's fourth son, also known as Egg, takes the throne, becoming King Aegon V Targaryen. He is called Aegon the Unlikely, because as the fourth son of a fourth son he was initially far behind in the line of succession. Ser Duncan joins Aegon V's Kingsguard, and eventually rises to become its Lord Commander. At the beginning of Aegon V's reign, Bloodraven is exiled to the Wall for killing a Blackfyre under a flag of truce. Ser Duncan is part of the Honor Guard that escorts him there, along with Aegon V's older brother Maester Aemon, who voluntarily joined the Night's Watch, despite Aegon V's pleas, because he wanted to remove himself as far as possible from court intrigues against his brother. 234 AC, Tywin Lannister, eldest son of Tytos Lannister, is born. The rule of Aegon V. This is generally a period of prosperity for the Seven Kingdoms, but also of conflict. Aegon V tried to enact many populist reforms throughout his reign to improve the lives of the commoners, lowering taxes on the poor and raising taxes on the rich. Politically this was unwise, as it turned many of the great lords of the realm against him, encouraging the worst of these to outright join rebellions against the throne. Aegon V proves an intelligent and capable king, but the reforms he attempted to make were too idealistic and impractical. The Fourth Blackfyre Rebellion occurs when the Golden Company launches an invasion at Massey's Hook in the Stormlands, led by Daemon Blackfyre's grandson Daemon III, along with the now elderly Bitter Steel. The Fourth Rebellion is even less successful than the Third. The heir to House Lannister dies in the Fourth Rebellion, leaving his younger brother as next in line, inexperienced third son Tytos Lannister, who succeeds their father upon his death. Tytos's weak rule greatly diminishes Lannister power and reduces them to a laughingstock. The Westerlands fall into chaos as a result, even meriting several military interventions from King Aegon V, but to no avail. House Rayne comes to rival House Lannister as the real power in the Westerlands. 258 AC, the War of the Ninepenny Kings, also known as the Fifth Blackfyre Rebellion, erupts, late in the reign of King Aegon V. A group of mercenaries, fortune-seekers, and ne'er-do-wells known as the Band of Nine combines their strength to carve out their own territories. Among them is Maelys the Monstrous, the last of the Blackfyre pretenders. After taking over the disputed lands and Tyrosh, they conquer the Stepstones as the opening move of an invasion meant to claim the Seven Kingdoms in the name of House Blackfyre. At the conclusion of the war, Maelys Blackfyre is killed by the promising young knight Ser Barristan Selmy. Both Ser Barristan and Ser Brynden, the Blackfish, Tully win great fame and glory during the war, and return home as celebrated heroes. In gratitude, King Aegon V appoints Ser Barristan to the Kingsguard, in which he will serve for the next 40 years. The teenage Tywin Lannister and his brothers also first blood themselves in combat during the war, serving with distinction. During the war, Brynden's older brother Hoster Tully of Riverrun makes the acquaintance of a Lord Baelish of the Fingers, later accepting his son Peter as a ward at Riverrun. Note, in the book continuity, the War of the Ninepenny Kings was actually fought during the reign of King Jaehaerys II, son of King Aegon V and father of King Aerys II, who only ruled for 3 years. The TV continuity has officially eliminated Jaehaerys II, making Aerys II the son of Aegon V. See, removing Jaehaerys II, in the notes section below. The Season 5 Histories and Lore featurette, Robert's Rebellion, Barristan Selmy, confirmed that in the TV continuity, the War of the Ninepenny Kings occurred in the last years of Aegon V's reign, and Aerys II explicitly only became king after that war ended. 258 AC, King Aegon V plans a series of arranged marriages between his children and several of the great houses to strengthen the royal family's political bonds within the realm. All of his children ultimately defy their father and marry for love instead, and because he married for love himself, he feels he cannot refuse them, causing all of his carefully planned political alliances to fall through. The young and beautiful Olenna Redwine was arranged to marry one of Aegon V's sons, but due to neither she nor her intended desiring the match, she got out of it and married Lord Luther Tyrell. Note, as with the War of the Ninepenny Kings, removing Jaehaerys II to make Aerys II the direct son of Aegon V eliminates an entire generation of House Targaryen, leading to several after-effects and questions of who exactly his children married in the TV continuity. See removing Jaehaerys II, in the notes section below. 258 AC, King Aegon and his son Prince Duncan are killed in a great fire at Summerhall, the Targaryen summer palace, apparently during an attempt to hatch the last 3 dragon eggs left in the west. Aegon's son, Aerys II Targaryen, becomes king. The eggs are assumed destroyed in the fire. The reign of the Mad King. 258 AC, King Aerys' reign begins with great promise. He sweeps aside the old men of his father and grandfather's courts and replaces them with young, vigorous replacements. King Aerys' wife Queen Rhaella gives birth to their first son, Rhaegar Targaryen. Emboldened by his recent military experience in the War of the Ninepenny Kings, young Tywin Lannister puts down the Reyne Rebellion to restore Lannister dominance over the Westerlands, and has any surviving Reynes, man, woman, and child, put to the sword, as an example to any vassal who would dare challenge Casterly Rock again. The eradication of House Reyne is the first major step in the return to glory of House Lannister, in which Tywin almost single-handedly rebuilt the fortunes and strength of his house. Impressed with Tywin's ruthlessness, Aerys II Targaryen appoints him as his new hand of the king. Tywin continues to ably serve in this position for nearly 20 years, during which the Seven Kingdoms and the Lannisters, in particular, enjoy peace and prosperity. 261 AC, Tywin Lannister's wife Joanna Lannister gives birth to twins, Cersei and Jaime. 265 AC, Tywin Lannister's wife Joanna dies giving birth to their third and final child, a stunted dwarf named Tyrion. 265, c.290 AC, according to Tyrion Lannister, Westeros has experienced 9 winters during his lifetime, the last ending around 290 AC. Tyrion states that the winter during which he was born was the longest of these, lasting 3 years. 275 AC, young Cersei Lannister and her companion Melara Heatherspoon visit a woods witch called Maggie, seen during the opening flashback scene of the Season 5 premiere, The Wars to Come. 276 AC, King Aerys' two Targaryens' wife Queen Rhaella give birth to their second son, Viserys Targaryen. 270 SAC, cracks begin to appear in Aerys' demeanor. He refuses to marry his son Rhaegar to Tywin's daughter Cersei, instead having Rhaegar marry Princess Elia Martell of Dorne. Aerys becomes paranoid over talk in the castle that Tywin is the true ruler of the Seven Kingdoms. Aerys has Ser Pain's tongue ripped out with hot pincers when he was overheard whispering, accurately, that Tywin was the real man holding the realm together at this point. 275 AC, the defiance of Duskendale. Lord Darklyn of Duskendale refuses to pay his taxes, and takes Aerys captive. Tywin and Barristan Selmy rescue Aerys. The Darklyns are burned alive for their treachery. Already suffering from bouts of mental instability, later historians claim that the stress of Aerys' imprisonment shattered what was left of his sanity. He retreated from public view for the next few years and refused to allow blades in his presence anymore, except those of his Kingsguard, developing a deranged appearance with uncut and filthy hair hanging to his waist, and uncut fingernails growing several inches long. 278 AC, Lord Stefan Baratheon and his wife, Lady Cassandra Baratheon die as their ship, the Wind Proud, sinks in Shipbreaker Bay. Their eldest son, Robert Baratheon, inherits Storm's End. 278 AC, the Great Tourney at Harrenhal. In a year of false spring, a great tournament is held by Lord Went at Harrenhal. Prince Rhaegar wins the tournament, but names Lyanna Stark of Winterfell as the Queen of Love and Beauty rather than his own wife Elia. Aerys names Jaime to the Kingsguard, disinheriting him as Tywin's heir in favor of his misshapen dwarf younger brother, Tyrion. Furious, Tywin resigns the handship and returns to Casterly Rock. 281 AC, Rhaegar allegedly kidnaps Lyanna against her will and disappears with her. Lyanna's eldest brother Brandon impulsively rides to King's Landing and demands justice, but instead Aerys has both him and his father Rickard arrested and brutally executed. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.